Major Jen Blessing, and I'm one of the pastors here at the Latrobe Salvation Army. Thank you so much for joining me for this Take 5 today. The weather's getting nicer, spring is just around the corner, and as I was driving around town the other day, on a beautiful day that was, I think, in the 70s or something like that. It was gorgeous outside. But I drove by this house that has this large tree in the front yard. It is the perfect tree climbing tree. And that's exactly what these young people were doing. They were out there climbing up this tree. Mom was in the yard kind of supervising, making sure they were all good. But the one kid just climbed up and was standing on the one branch, just talking about all the things that they were able to see from this new vantage point. And of course, just like anybody would think of, I started to think of Zacchaeus and the story of Zacchaeus. And I was just thinking that maybe we should take a look at that story, because whenever I went home and reread it, the Lord spoke something to me, and I just wanted to share that with you. So let's take a moment and read from the book of Luke, the story and the account of Jesus' encounter with Zacchaeus. It's in Luke chapter 19, starting with the first verse. It says this: Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass by that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest at your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. "Has he gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner?" they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, "I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord. And if I have cheated people on their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much." Jesus responded, "Salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost." Now, maybe it was because I'm short as well, but I've always enjoyed the story of Zacchaeus. But whenever I was pondering this the other day, something stuck out to me. We read that and we see, Zacchaeus was short and he climbed the tree, and he was able to see Jesus. It gave him a height advantage. But we are also told that Zacchaeus was a tax collector, and he was very rich. Some scholars think that he was crooked and was not a very liked man. I have a feeling that there are more reasons than just being short that he chose to climb a tree. Because I don't know about you, I'm pretty short. I can weave my way into a crowd. It's a little easy for short people to kind of squeeze in and get through and position yourself to the front. So that way you can see, because if you're stuck in the back, you're not going to be able to see. But Zacchaeus didn't choose to do that. He didn't weasel in through the crowd to get to the front so he could see. He climbed a tree away from the crowd, and he waited. His circumstances are what put him in that position. And it was that position that got him noticed, and that brought salvation to him. This scripture tells us of this great turnaround that Zacchaeus had, this beautiful encounter with Jesus. But it was his circumstances that put him in the position to have this encounter with Jesus. Many of us have things that we have no control over, such as our height. And then there might be things that we do have control over, where we've made really poor decisions. And we find ourselves being alienated and not having the friend group or the advantages or the benefits of being able to be in a crowd. for me, what struck me about Zacchaeus was that if it weren't for those things, he wouldn't have been in the position where he needed to be for that encounter with Jesus. What is it in your life today? Ask the Lord that. Are there things that you complain about that are actually what God is going to use to put you in the right position to get a blessing? Maybe we're all a little bit like Zacchaeus. Thanks for joining me today for this Take 5. I hope you have a fantastic day.